so fat in those videos.
What is wrong with you?
I need a new intro now.
Cut that nonsense out. That's what I needed. I need a new intro. Cut that nonsense
Need a
out.
new intro. It looks like I was about this wide out. What the hell?
What is wrong with you?
Oh man, what's going on? It's been a couple weeks now, and we back at it. We got a lot to talk about, and I ain't even thinking about Funko.
What do you mean?
There
I'm
is
listening.
so much that's been going on. San Diego Comic-Con is come and gone. There is so much big news just from the Hall H Marvel, which, mind you, I'm a nerd. I live stream that shit. But so many big things. We've got Deadpool to talk to, and if you didn't see Deadpool yet, well, I'm sorry, you suck, and you need to go see it because it is honestly one of the best Deadpools I've ever seen in my life. Now, there's some controversy, of course, around that movie, as I kind of expected.
What do you
but
mean?
we're going to talk about it. There's going to be some spoilers, so if you didn't hear and you don't want to hear it, well, then you're going to hear it
What
anyways.
do you mean? There's some controversy around that Deadpool. What do you mean?
Well, is this what we want? We want to jump right into Deadpool?
Yeah, I mean, we can jump right into it. It's no big deal to me.
All right.
What you been doing this week?
So,
Let's talk about that first.
I think there's multiple levels of controversy
All
going
right,
on with
I'm
this. Of
ready.
course,
Interesting. You got it.
let's start with the numbers first. So, over the first weekend of Deadpool Wolverine, the movie grossed $438 million in the first weekend. Now, the budget for the movie was $200 million. So they're already, and mind you, that's 438 worldwide. It was 211 million domestic, I believe. So there was a lot there. Now, you have multiple groups. Now, again, you have to take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt because you don't know with social media nowadays what's real and what's not. There's a lot of, you got religious groups that are all up in arms with this. Now, I don't believe a lot of these people are saying they took their kids to go to this movie and this is blasphemy. First of all, if you actually did do that, you're freaking stupid. I wouldn't take my 10-year-old to see this damn movie.
The movie had an R rating on it, so if you took your kid to it, you're a bad parent.
I would agree.
You're just a bad parent. You can't blame me on the movie.
And the fact that I think I've seen some TikToks and social medias out there that you can definitely tell at a certain point it's got to be fake. The other part about it is, there are some religious groups that are going on, and it's like they're arguing that they walked out 30 minutes in the movie because it had so many blasphemy, and this is their words, blasphemy, religious words that using the Lord's name in vain, like calling himself Marvel Genius, and also
Marvel Jesus is what he called himself.
Marvel Jesus.
Yeah, it's okay.
You
can say it.
Close enough.
We're not PC here. You can say it.
But also saying that, which they didn't even understand the reference by any means, but there was a scene when he was going through and finding the different Logans that he found a iconic scene within all comic books, and there is even covers about this, of Wolverine on the X with, of course, skulls everywhere. Of course, this has to do with the apocalypse, and Wolverine can't die, so he's on the X. This has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with anything, and they're making it out to seem like it was blasphemy against religion. I, for one, am not religious in any sort of way.
I am,
but this is epically, I think, a complete. First of all, if you didn't watch the first two Deadpools and you decided, being religion, to go and see a Deadpool movie, you're stupid.
Maybe you should have watched the first two.
Maybe you should have watched the first two and decided if this was something you wanted to watch.
Right.
Yeah, it's just so many things about that. And then let's touch base on this first before I get into the other part of the controversy.
Yeah, no, let's stay right here for a minute because I like this one. I like this one a lot. So I haven't heard any of this because I don't watch news or social media or anything else for that matter. I just work my ass off and hustle like hell and enjoy the few little bits of life that I can. This was one of those bits of life that I got to enjoy. And as a religious guy, because I'm a pretty religious guy, I might not like go to church every weekend, and I might not like walk around Bible thumping, praise Jesus, but I still consider myself to. I come from a really strong religious background. Let's put it that way. So I come from a very strong religious background, and if you got offended at some part of this movie because you felt like it was being blasphemy toward yourself, you're the problem. The movie's not the problem. You're the problem. I that's the only thing I could say is that it's entertainment. Sometimes we for some reason we look for things to be upset about in life, and it's just trash. I didn't know this was even a thing. I can't even believe that it's a thing because it was a made up movie about a made up character that came from a comic book that was made up
That
and
was iconic to the.
and had no listen to me. I love this movie so much because it had nothing PC was in it, nothing political was in it, nothing woke was in it, nothing was in it. So if you found a problem with this movie, you're the problem, not the movie. And that's where I'm going to set that. You're the problem.
Now again, these two different controversies have to do with probably out of all the people that went and saw this movie, maybe 5 to 10% of the population. The other 90% are, nerds, comic book people that follow these movies, people that understand these movies, people that read the comics and they get it, and they actually understood what Marvel was trying to do. Because to me, and I'll get that into this in a second. To me, I think MCU was trying to do a couple things in this movie. The other part is then you've got the people who are not comic book kids by any means. They weren't like us. They weren't the kids sitting inside comic book stores as a kid reading comics and understanding these things and wanting to see what we read in comics come out on the big screen.
Right.
They're not understanding it. So they don't understand it, whether they didn't watch other Marvels, they didn't watch other Deadpools, they didn't watch these other things. They completely just, saw, well, this is just, either a nerd, a fandom, some even called it a white boy's wet dream, to basically be nothing but a bunch of dick and fart jokes,
always pandering
for the 15-year-olds. So
always pandering somewhere.
My big response to that is, have a friggin' sense of humor for one, because guess what? It's okay. I constantly tell my wife, I'm 42 damn years old, going on 15. I laugh at fart jokes. I laugh at I grew up in a world where your best friends, you can sit there and talk shit and just ridicule your best friends up and down. Why? Because you're best friends. But if anyone else tries to do that, guess what? They're going to eat shit for it. Right. That's the world that I came in. And again, if you're going to be this mad about, it's like, come on, dude, take to yourself 5 seconds, shut off the brain, and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, well, I couldn't said it any better. Jesus Christ. Just shut off the nonsense and have fun for a second. Yes. Just for 1 second. I love that movie. I had no clue. I love that movie so much. I guarantee y'all I'm going to watch it 10 times before they bring it to Disney Plus, because I love that movie.
A bunch of coworkers and I were talking about this today. We got to see it again because there was
so many one-liners
things that caught, and there's a lot of things that I believe I missed, and I need to watch it multiple times.
So many one-liners. All right, so let's get off of that because
we're off the controversies.
It's dumb.
Let's talk about the movie in itself.
If you had a problem with that movie, you're the problem, though. Just so you know, you're the problem, not the movie. But check this out. So when this movie was announced, and when I was thinking about going to see this, getting the idea and the plan that we're going to go watch this, I kept asking myself in the timeline, because Star Wars has really taught me a lot about.
I was confused about the timeline a little bit.
Star Wars has taught me a lot about paying attention to the timeline, right? Hanging out with you and JKL and all of the cool guys that are into Star Wars, and JB from Discovery Bay Comics really taught me to watch the timeline, right? Where is this in the timeline? And I kept trying to figure out how they were going to bring Logan back from dead, right? I said, Logan's dead.
Well, that wasn't necessarily there. There's one part, and that's why I got to see it again. There's one epic part that we were debating today that made a little bit of no sense, but I need to try to understand it. But yes, let's go with the Logan part. Let's discuss that part.
I couldn't. I was so proud of the way they brought him into it. I was so proud of the fact that they didn't just say F that and throw him in there and give you no explanation as to where we were at in the timeline, like how this was possible. Was it before he died? Is this after? I was so glad that they cleared the timeline for us. Johnny Knight, I don't know if you're still in here. I appreciate you, brother, for being a 21 member, just so you know. Yes, so, I don't know if you're still in here, but check this out. We appreciate you, brother.
So, first of all, the intro to this movie
it's insane.
Mind you, I'm not a boy band type person.
I am now.
I could not. I can watch that scene over and over again with that song and be 1,000% okay with it over and over and over. That was done so well, and the blood, guts, and gore was done so well. The fact that he used Logan's metal body to beat the living piss out of these guys was just epic.
It was great.
All right.
He said, what did he say? He says, I guess we're gonna team up after.
Yeah. So it was epic, right? So that was just to kind of break the humor, get right into this. Now, let's step into the Logan part. You know, he goes to go searching for Logan, and to me, they hit on so many things, because not only did they go after and answer everybody's multiple questions, but they gave all the nerds and fans out there exactly what they wanted. And this is why I say this. One, let's talk about at least, I think, five of the different Wolverines I went to. First, we're going to go to, what do you call it? Comic correct Wolverine. Let's just say that. Of course, there's been so many talks about how in the comics Wolverine is a short dude.
Yes, he is. He's 5'3",
and to me,
310 pounds.
This answered the reason they didn't do this in so many ways, because they made him a 5'3" short Wolverine.
Yep,
it looked funny.
Looked really funny. Really funny, right?
Yeah. So that answered those questions. So then what did we get? We got Apocalypse Wolverine, which was absolutely fucking awesome. And he beat the shit out of Deadpool, which was great. We got original brown and yellow costume Wolverine, which I absolutely love.
This was the actor that they have been saying would take.
No. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay, all right. So this isn't the fan favorite.
And then there were so many controversies on before Hugh was going to come back on who they're going to do to, and the number one people that everyone kept saying was Superman himself, like I can't think of his name. Cavill, Henry Cavill, I think that's what his name is. He had from the back, he looked just like a big muscled Logan. You call out and you see, and he played it very, very well.
He did
it very well.
Also beat Deadpool up.
I would love, and I still think we're gonna see, especially since James Gunn's DC universe is going in a different direction and getting a whole new Superman. I still think we're gonna see Cavill in the MCU soon, and get his own role. I think that was just a tease, and that was to answer a lot of those questions on could he play that role. And yes, he could have played that role.
Yeah, he fit the role very well.
1,000%. So I think the whole Wolverine flashback was absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan and you're a comic book fan of Wolverine,
let's back up just a little bit though. I love how they tied Loki into this as well. So they tied Loki into this as well. And I don't know if you caught that from the whole timeline thing, right? The whole timeline thing was tying Loki into it. The series Loki,
you have seen Loki
cleaning up the timelines, right? And no, I don't think so. Just one.
There's more to that, especially within the Void, that you got if you got to see Loki 2 to understand where Loki is at currently
Right.
in connection to the big beast that's in the void.
Right.
So there's a little bit more to that, but I did catch the time. But what is really confusing me, maybe some of you guys can even help me try to understand this. Now, there is a timeline, or maybe not even a timeline. There's a multiverse odd question here.
I got you.
Is it said I can't remember the numbers, but it said he went to one world and had a meeting with Happy. Now, one thing that I picked up in this scene with Happy Hogan was one attention to details to his office was absolutely fantastic. And I don't know if somebody noticed this, but I did, and I thought it was weird at first, but then I thought about it. Is you had Captain Shield, you had an Iron Man helmet right behind him, but if you look at the Iron Man helmet, you'll see a picture of Happy. Now there's a that picture is supposed to be Happy Hogan and Tom Holland Spider-Man, right? But if you look at the picture close enough, it just shows Happy. Why? Because at this point, technically within the timeline, nobody knows who Tom Holland or who Peter Parker is. Because remember, at the end of the last Spider-Man, he made everyone forget who he was. So technically, they don't that picture should not have him. So that's why they're not showing Spider-Man in that picture. So, but that anyways. So he went to one Earth to go and interview with Happy to become an Avenger, and then all of a sudden he went back to a different Earth, which was his universe and his timeline. So my question is, when the TVA showed up at his door, he seemed like he didn't really know of the TVA.
I felt like he knew them. See, so we took that differently.
I originally thought that too, but my coworkers, again, this is why I really need to see it again to pick up on this, because the only way you're going to jump between planets at that point is either a riptide like they had in the Marvels, or you're going to have the coder like they have in the TVA. So how did he go to one world, one Earth, to interview with Happy and then go back to his Earth? And then mind you, it wasn't something in the past, because remember, the girlfriend was saying that you weren't the same since you had that meeting with Happy. So something there doesn't seem to make a ton of sense. And again, I need to watch it and focus on this, and maybe it will. There's so many details.
So remember that he's ripped the timeline before, right? Because he went back and saved his girlfriend. He went back and saved somebody else. That is true. So he still has that bounty hunters, like whatever it is that he used to like jump in there. He knew all too easy how to use that little thing to jump timelines. Yeah. He knew how to use it way too easy, right? He flipped it open, knew what to do with it. And when they were standing there, he knew that they were there for him. It wasn't a question. He wasn't like, hey, who are you looking for? He was like, hey, guys, you think we could take this down the hall? So he already knew that like this was going to go south. So he had to have known of the TVA before this. Yes, he knew who they were, and I caught that right at the very beginning, because he was like, hey, guys, do we have to do this right here? There's kind of like some stuff going on. Can we go down the hall with this? I mean, because he knew that it was going to be a fight. I mean, he already knew, and he was trying to get them to go down the hall because he knew it was going to be a fight. Other words, he'd have been like, who are you guys? What's going on? What can I help you with? It wasn't that at all. It was I do think, and I was saying this today, but then, some people are saying something different, but if you think about it that way, I think he did know who the TVA was. He knew who they were, because he was all too willing to go down the hall with them. Instead of saying, hey guys, I don't know what you're here for or what you're doing or who are you looking for, he knew that they were there for him. It was like, hey, could we go down the hall with this? Just down the hall a little bit, because he was just going to go down the hall. It almost seemed like, how they said they had so many Deadpools and they put so many Deadpools into the void. It almost seemed like there had to have been something there that we haven't been told, that he had a discussion with the TVA to want to change himself and be a better person and want to get with the Avengers. And when it was, maybe he didn't want to go down that path and get to that point. I don't know. I think there's something more there in that middle space between Deadpool 2 and between this one that we don't know. And again, we can speculate that 1,000 ways to Sunday. For sure. They know that. And they know that. And that's why they did it like that.
Now let's talk cameos.
All
right.
Look, I wanted to tell you so badly. They came in hard.
Oh, they did.
The
They got
cameos.
me. They got me. I mean, first of all, the only disappointing thing I had in this movie was one thing I told you guys I was so interested. And now I understand why they made a trailer out of this. Okay. I remember talking to you guys about how excited I was for a saber-tooth Wolverine.
That was so disappointing.
I was but now I understand why they showed that the initial build up to us in the trailer, because it really wasn't much. I was disappointed that basically just took the dude's head off and was done with it. I was hoping for more, but other than, I'll tell you my absolute favorite cameo, and you know me, I gotta go with Chris Evans in this. And I did hear that Chris Evans had signed on to something else, but I also know that Chris Evans had said that he's very protective of the Steve Rogers character at this point in his career, that he felt that things were done right. So I was with everybody else in the theater when he was getting ready to say something. I expected him to say Avengers Assemble, and when he said Flame On, my jaw dropped. And I was like, no friggin' way. Of course, we all know Chris Evans had played Human Torch in the previous 2 Fantastic Four movies.
Human Torch.
It was awesome.
Johnny deserved it.
I loved it. I was surprised, but I loved it at the same time. I also don't know if a lot of people didn't pick this up either, until I told them about it afterwards. Did you notice that the vehicles, when they were taking them to the Ant-Man lair, that one of those vehicles they were traveling in was the original Fantastic Four vehicle?
Yeah, no, I knew that. They paid homage to Fantastic Four. They paid homage to what's that damn movie where they're all like,
I'm still getting to that of 2, where I think there was not only a story to be told to and how they had to incorporate Wolverine into this world.
They paid homage to Mad Max in there.
But I think there was so much, even though with all the jokes about Disney, all the jokes about Fox, all the jokes about Feige.
I think they did Fox right.
Jokes about all of that. Ultimately, I think, and there's some people that say, hey, the storyline was lackluster, which in some cases you can there is a discussion to be made on that, yes. But if you really think about this whole thing, and this is where I really got to, and it really hit me at the end in the mid-credit scene. To me, this was also fit in 2 ways. This was Marvel, because I don't think in a lot of ways now, Fox made a lot of bad Marvel movies. Don't get me wrong. They did.
Sure. They did.
But they also made some very, very good Marvel movies. And I think that there was many years there that they did bring us Marvel movies. And to me, this was sort of paying homage to a lot of that. Because you bring him back, Chris Evans as Human Torch. You brought back Elektra or Jennifer Garner to play Elektra. You brought back what's his name to play Blade, which was out of this world.
Wesley Snipes came into play. My favorite cameo, by the way.
Which is fantastic. You brought Channing Tatum, who'd been trying to bring Gambit to the silver screen for years under Fox, and it kept getting shut down. There were so many things in there that I think there was Marvel wanted to do 2 ways. They wanted to pay homage to the Marvel movies that came before, but they also wanted to basically tell you, hey, what you know of those Marvel movies in the past is done.
Yeah, well, they made sure you knew that it was under new management, that it was under new studios. But I still felt like they did Fox right, even though there was a lot of jokes about like Fox. They made it a point to like make sure Fox was still being mentioned in it. They could have completely left them out and just kind of rode through it, but they made a point to make sure that they recognized that Fox had made the previous movies and that Fox was used to what was it, to pegging. Fox was used to pegging. This is going to be new to Disney.
And then and the comments about Feige. And I actually saw an interview from Kevin Feige explaining the whole cocaine thing. Now, again,
Yeah,
we're gonna get
that was
sidetracked here, but I
that was
got to tell the
Disney's not
story.
gonna allow this.
So Feige said that when they brought everything to them, Ryan kept writing all these jokes and stuff like that, and was basically, they had to keep writing scripts to them and sending the executives scripts throughout the whole process. And they just kept waiting for Disney to come back and say, hey, no, cut this, cut this, cut this. And Disney wasn't saying no. So they had a meeting with Kevin, and Kevin said, dude, you have an R rating. Go wherever you want with it. And Ryan was like, so there's no stops, there's nothing to cut. He goes, no. He's like, if anything, if I was gonna say anything, hey, maybe cut out some of the cocaine stuff. It's kind of getting old with some aspects. Not to say that he had to cut it out, but to say, hey, maybe that's kind of old, and maybe. But it was funny that Ryan Reynolds took that and decided to run with the joking of it, and it was so hilarious. Kevin said he loved it.
Poke the bear.
Yeah.
Just poke the bear.
Feige said he absolutely loved it, found it hilarious, and went with it.
So let's not give too much of it away, because there's probably a lot of people that still haven't seen it, or maybe there's some of these guys haven't seen it yet.
I'll go with two things here. One, I gotta actually pay homage and Kevin, in an interview with Kevin Feige, that there was a journalist that actually put this movie as the greatest tagline to this, that this movie was a Marvel Phase 5 reset.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin didn't think about that until the guy said that is a fantastic way to think about this. This is a Phase 5 reset.
It was
the second part, and I've got to ask you, and I will tell you after I ask you, and we'll probably kind of end on this, because if you didn't see the movie yet,
let's not give too much of it away.
But I have to ask you, what is your single favorite surprise in this movie?
Oh, it was Blade. So I used to be a massive Blade. Me and my dad watched all of the Blades together. I know all of the lines in Blade. He actually said something in this movie that no one caught in the theater. So no one caught this in the theater but me. And I'm like, yeah. Well, when you went and seen it, I don't know how your theater was. Every time he made a joke, the whole theater would start laughing. Every time like a punchline came in, the whole theater would start laughing. Everybody was engaged. Blade is fighting, right? And Blade had in his movie, it's been bazillion 1992, probably 1996. Blade makes a comment in one of the Blades. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yep, I do remember that one.
So in the Deadpool movie, they're just beating that, kicking ass and taking names. And Blade says, some motherfuckers are still trying to ice skate uphill.
I didn't pick up on that. That's a good one.
And I about hit the floor because I was like, oh, look at this.
Now, my single favorite part of this movie, and a surpriser, and it's not even a cameo that I have, and I was probably, I don't know, maybe I was the only person in my theater that squealed like a little schoolgirl when this happened. But in one of the last fight scenes, they're getting ready to fight all the Deadpools, and Wolverine reaches back. Where he was keeping this thing, I have no idea. But he reaches back and he puts the hood on. And I about squealed like a little schoolgirl when this happened.
Me and you both. And I liked Deadpool's reaction. Well, where were you keeping this?
Where were you keeping that? First of all, where were you keeping that?
He's like, and why haven't you put this on before?
But this is the first time in any Hugh Jackman movie he's actually worn the full outfit. You can see how the sleeves came off. It played a good story onto why he wouldn't take the costume off. And at that point, he had the sleeves were torn off. He had that. He put on the. Oh, it was to me, it was the single greatest.
I agree.
I would probably say my top 3 favorite superheroes of all time has got to be Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. And to see that being played Oh my god, I was so
There's
happy.
so many one-liners in this movie that you have to go see it, and I got to
Oh
see it
yeah.
again so that I can catch up on more of them. But do you remember the dude that had the dogs? The dude has the Deadpool dog,
Yeah,
and
the other Reynolds that played.
so they start shooting, and he grabs
I called him Canadian
him and
Reynolds.
uses him. He uses him as a human shield. Do you remember
It was
that?
so funny.
That's right before he puts the Wolverine mask up. But he drags him to the car to safety, and he says, "How long does it take you to regenerate?" He goes, "Regenerate," and he goes, "Oh." He goes, "Oh," and then Wolverine's like, "You just killed him." He's like, "There's a medic, there's a what do you say? There's a meta pack over there in the kiosk. I just got to get you over
And he
there."
takes him and keeps moving and
Human
still uses him
shield
as a
again.
human shield. And then his head pops off, and next thing
And he
you
goes,
know, Deadpool's trying to do CPR on a dude with no head.
I was like, "What?" He's like, just
And
hold
then,
him there.
of course, the whole thing about that was the fact that he wanted to get his hands
Oh
on
yeah, on the
those
dog
gold-plated Desert Eagles
and
he
the
had.
dog. Yeah, and the
And the
dog. I
dog.
mean, and the dog. but he says, "Why aren't you using your legs?" It's like, "I'm pulling dead weight." He's like, "I can't feel them."
Now, Ryan did come out and say in an interview that Kid Pool was actually his son.
That was actually his son. Yeah,
That was actually
That was
his son.
or
And
his daughter. It was one or the
Baby
other.
Pool was also his
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, one of them was his son, and one of them was his daughter.
Yeah.
But then you had what's his face as the voice of Deadpool Cowboy. I can't think of his name.
That was
another really famous actor did
yeah.
that one.
I can't remember right now.
It was a great movie.
There's still all kinds of suspicion
There's
on who Lady Pool is, and I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah,
Ryan
probably
won't
not.
say anything.
There was I didn't really like the way that scene how it went so quickly. I didn't really like how quickly that scene went and how. But I'm gonna let everybody else.
But
like
hold
figure
on.
it out
The
when
one
it
thing I
happens.
will say about that scene that was a brilliant cinematography is how they went sideways, basically showing that scene and how, because it basically went like almost like an old school video game sideways level version of that. It
Yeah,
was
for sure.
cinematically, the way I would have never thought to film it that way.
They did an amazing job. Simon, what's up, brother? I guess we haven't shouted everybody out. Justin was in here. Johnny Knight, what's up? Jack, Zach. I'm sorry, I called you Jack. What's up, Zach? We got Simon in the house. Keith, thank you, Ken.
A few people.
The movie was done really great. So I'm gonna back up.
We could go for another hour talking about details, but all I can say is if you haven't seen it, see it. It is currently the 6th highest first weekend grossing movie of all time. And if you want to compare this to the highest grossing movie, which was Endgame opened up the first weekend at $605 million worldwide. So this opening up at 438, that's very respectable.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Good. And I think they're going to open up week 2 even stronger. I see this thing going into $1 billion.
It's going to get way up there for sure. I have a rant though I want to talk about for a minute. This is going to be a good one. So remember Freddie Corny Freddie?
You know me. I went on my last rant
All right.
2 weeks ago about Fred.
So I kind of made a post about this on Instagram, guys, and I'm still thinking about doing it. So when this dropped, I got a video that'll be coming out this Friday. I got to make sure that I get it like done tomorrow so that I can get it uploaded. And the video is basically asking the question, do you want me to start fact checking people? Right. It's basically however many people it reaches, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Make sure you share the video when you do see it Friday. Do you want me to start fact checking people? And here's why. This corny Freddy had more, I want to say Funko collectors, but now you're just an influencer if you're a Funko collector. That's just the way it works, I guess, now. If you collect Funkos, then you walk around with the camera and you go know the Funko god to information when it comes to everything Funko. I don't remember it being that way when I started collecting them. We were all just kind of trying to find our way. Yeah. And now all of a sudden everybody is experts in it, which I don't even understand how, because none of them are being sponsored by them, or none of them have real insider information, no matter how much they want to tell you they do.
Tells me they're not true collectors.
Yeah. So but so many channels, and I could name y'all right now, and I told y'all in this post that you only have a short time before I make a video calling you out, because I'm kind of tired of, and this is what I'm tired of. I'm tired of the people who don't really collect Funkos, the people who only use Funko to sell stuff on Whatnot. This is the collector that I'm tired of. I'm tired of the collector who says, "Man, this is gonna be so hot," knowing full and damn well it's not.
For yourself.
Full and damn well it's not. And what they're trying to do is convince everybody else that it's gonna sell out so that they can go and then flip it on the market for more than what they paid for it. Or they're hoping that they could talk you into selling it out so that then they can make money off of it, because they already know that they're going to get it, right? Yeah. They already know this. So they're just trying to build false hype to con people into giving them more money than something is worth, right? It's a con. Yeah. They're trying to build a fake market that's not there so that they can make money off of other people on Whatnot, right? And they'll call it, this is what they'll say, "I'm just trying to help out the community by selling you this one at $80. How the hell is that helping the community? That's helping you.
Here's, to me, and again, I expand on my rant a little bit 2 weeks ago. One, y'all know I hate Freddy. I hate Freddy.
They never do good like this.
Here's the thing. Look at statistic wise. Now, there's two different types of Freddys, and to me, there's three different types of collectors. And I'm going to get into all three of these in a second. There's two different types of Freddys out there. So you got Freddys like this, that shaped like a corn, or wearing an outfit, or a skateboard Freddy, or a Freddy holding a birthday cake, or this other stuff. Now, statistic wise, go back and please tell me if I am wrong, but go through the PPG guides, and every plain Jane Freddy never pulls more than $10 to $12. All right, never, and there's usually under $10 to $12. Period. The only Freddys that ever actually pull money is when they take a Freddy and say Freddy as Genie, Freddy as Megatron, Freddy as this. When they outfit him to look like another type of character. Why does that get a lot of hits? It gets hits because people can still associate their fandom for that character itself, not necessarily Freddy. Nobody really gives two shits about Freddy, but that's where it is. So we know statistically where the money lies in Funko Freddys. Now I go into three different types of people out there. One, you got collectors who, like myself, if I'm collecting something, I'm collecting it because I want it. I don't know the value of my stuff. Why? Because I don't give two shits.
I don't either.
Because I collect them because I want them, because they have some sort of connection to me. You've got people that, and I'm not going to completely take this out. There are people that might so-heartedly be Funko Freddy fans and don't care about the price and will want to collect every single one out there.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's a small percentage out there that do believe that.
I can believe that.
And there's other ones that don't really even understand Funko and how PPG technically works, but they see that there's a Funko Freddy icon character for the brand and automatically assume that the brand Funko item actually makes money. And they want to try to hype it up so that way they can try to turn a profit when they sell it on eBay or Whatnot or anything like that.
Well, this is the flipper collector.
Like that's the flipper collector.
This is not the real collector, right? And in so many channels right now on YouTube and maybe even TikTok, I don't know because I don't ever see these morons on TikTok. They have simply built their whole brand on telling you things are going to be hype when they're not, so that they can sell them on the secondary market to make money. If this is not true, they will shut down their Whatnot right now. Right now, they'll shut it down and they won't sell a single other item on it. But you know that's not true because that's how they're making money off of you, not me, because I'm not stupid enough to buy from these morons. And this corny Freddy just straight pisses me off because there was so many channels that knew better. They knew better. It's not like it was something new. You know this, and how long you were never a flipper, and you knew that this corny Freddy would not blow up, right? You knew that, and you have never been into the reselling side of it, right? Other than getting them all done on eBay, right? Other than
I
just
put them on
putting
eBay
the ones because they were mystery boxes, right?
Anymore.
Right, because they were mystery boxes, right? You were opening mystery boxes. So that's the only reason you even are involved in that at all. But you don't know which ones to go after and which ones not to go after. But you do know that Freddy dressed as himself never goes up. Never goes up.
In fact, I did just sell a Freddy. I had a Freddy as I think with a skateboard. Recently.
Yes.
And my wife, and it was one of those ones I think came in a box somewhere, blah blah blah, whatever. She put it up on eBay. It did not sell. I think she ended up selling it for like $2 or $3, to be honest.
Right.
They do not sell. And you know what? If anything, the creative people out there will buy those cheap.
Take the head off of them,
and use them to head harvest.
Head harvest, like I do. Put them on Boba Fett bodies, head harvest that thing.
Because at that point, you're making it look like another character, which is what people actually want.
Hey, Zach says that the flippers that use the helping the community is as funny as the screen door on a battleship.
but here's why, and again, maybe this is why we don't get some traction from people or whatnot. I don't really care. I come on here really just to hang out, to be 1,000% honest with you. But we're giving you the God's honest opinion out there, and technically we're saying what these people refuse to really tell you. They're doing it out of their own personal greed, to be 1,000% honest.
Yeah.
Now there are some people in the community that I believe do certain things to a good thing.
Yes.
Like a good friend of the channels. A good friend of the channels, Vince from Pop and Duo.
Yeah, you can't put everybody in that.
I cannot put it. He is a Freddy fan, and this is why I can't say I eliminate. He is a Freddy Funko fan.
Oh,
let's collect them all. But you even go to any of his whatnots, and he does do whatnot. But pretty much all of his profit, because he really he does so many mystery boxes, he doesn't need half this shit that he gets in there.
Right.
So he's selling all the stuff that he doesn't want in his own collection because he is a collector. He's a real collector out there.
Yeah, that has really expensive pops.
He puts that profit and gives it away.
Yeah.
He gives it to charities.
So you can't put everybody under that umbrella, but I know that there's it. And look, this is what I mean by fact checking. I think maybe this community needs a fact checker. And if
I agree.
And if y'all want me to be the bad guy, I'm down. Because what are they going to do?
Here's the thing to point out too, and I have noticed this in the community as well. We started out.
There's no checks and balances.
The community when before COVID happened, and the community blew up because of COVID because nobody had anything else to do, and we could only get things shipped in. And of course, after COVID, things went back to normal, and we saw firsthand this community just dwindle down into very little amounts of people. There has been a recent surge in people coming into the Funko community that have nothing real, and you can tell that they're fake collectors. They're not true collectors.
So many of them now.
They're doing shorts. They're doing all these things, and they have really no idea of what it is they're talking about at all. They are these ones. They are these help the community bullshit.
Help the community.
Fake liars.
That now is term for you're a liar to me. If someone says I'm just trying to help, they go, you're a liar. That is now how I know from the very beginning that you're just a liar.
And I've called a couple of them out, and even they've had live streams and stuff. I've done a couple that, and my wife hates it. To be honest with you, my wife hates it sometimes when I see stupid ass shit and I decided to poke it in there. And again, really, I shouldn't be giving them the views or giving them the interaction, but sometimes stupid needs to be called out.
Right. So, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm not, look, if people get upset with me, people get upset with me. I don't really care. I've had people upset with me in this community before. It's whatever. It's just who I am in general. But I think there needs to be some checks and balances, right? I feel like if some of these people thought that they would get called out, that maybe they would be a little bit more, conservative on the things they tell you are going to be super hype, or the stuff that comes out of their mouth. If there was something there that said no, check this out, you're a liar and this is why, that these people would be a lot more likely not to do this, right? They'd be a lot less likely to say, whoa, I don't I don't want somebody to call me out and then me have to explain why I told that lie. I mean, because you blatantly knew it was a lie when you said it, right?
Well, you can also tell they're full of shit because when they do get called out in lives or whatnot, they start to get very defensive. And if you really know what you're talking about, you're not going to get overly defensive because you know that you know the real truth. But when they get called out, they get overly defensive, and you know right there, it's a clear cut sign that they're full of shit.
Laney, what's popping? How are you doing? So seriously, this corny Freddy still pisses me off.
What's going on?
This one still pisses me off because I can tell you 3 channels that are decently sized that everyone in this chat knows, that a lot of people in the community know, all said out loud this was going to be one of the hottest sodas of 2024. This is the hottest.
Your biggest fail is in just what you said. Soda.
Yeah.
When was the last time any soda was ever popular? Was ever worth any money? Sodas died. YouTubers killed sodas. Funko killed sodas by not being honest.
So I patiently waited. I patiently waited till the day of the sale. I bought nothing on the sale also. Nothing. I bought nothing. I bought the mystery box, and it still hasn't arrived to my house. I bought nothing on the sale, and I'm a little upset that it hasn't arrived to my house, but I also have to remember that we've been blacklisted, so they're probably trying to make sure that I get it dead last so that it's already had 9,000 videos made about it so that my video doesn't get any views. Whatever. Whatever. But anyways, I'm still upset about it.
Ever have caught the attention of Funko?
We have. I know we have. This one still upsets me because I can name at least 3 channels right now out loud that all said this is going to be so hot. I love this. This is so great. This is going to sell out. You just get ready.
Shit.
And it didn't sell out. And I think these people should start being held accountable for when they come on there and blatantly tell things that they know aren't true. I know that they knew it wasn't true because Chris knew that it wasn't true. I knew that it wasn't true the second I heard it. I said, there's no chase. It's a pretty high run. No chase. It's not a Freddy of somebody. If this would have been Freddy of Han Solo, I'd have said, woohoo, it's done.
I'll tell you this, the last non-chase soda that was ever popular and sold out very quickly, and I could be wrong on this, but to me, from my personal perspective, was Crunchberry.
So Zach, I agree with what you're saying. I won't do it in a live. I will make a video that will inadvertently.
I have called out a streamer.
I would do it inadvertently so that you clearly know who it is that I'm speaking about, and I will make sure that there's a clip of them saying it out loud. And because there's videos of these people saying this out loud, I will make sure that there is a video of them saying it out loud, and then I will explain why they are wrong and how they openly led you in the wrong direction, knowing that they were misleading you. Because there needs to be some kind of facts and checks and balances. There needs to be checks and balances.
And
for
Zach,
too long there hasn't been.
I regret nothing. And I have called out streamers for, especially some of these newer ones, for being full of shit. And whether they liked it or not, that's their prerogative. Whether it's detrimental to them, don't care. Really don't. But, stop hawking your bullshit and tell the truth.
All right, so let's look at like the Laney, I agree with you. The gullibleness that is in the community right now is insane, and it's because these people have a little bit of a following, and people believe everything that they say. And for some reason, what they're saying is, I'm going to say maybe it's not because they sell on Whatnot, but we all know that it's because they're selling on Whatnot.
Yeah,
we all know that that's the reason. So let's take a quick overview of what's
about. First of all, I do have to say this is the first time I've ever seen this, and this is right up to the fact that Funko didn't sell out of shit.
No,
because
no,
you can buy every single SDC exclusive bundle for $556.
They sold out of nothing. Nothing is sold out. I said the same thing the first time I seen that. I said, well, this is kind of sad because nothing sold out. Nothing sold out. Even though you're going to see some things on here that say they're sold out, they can't be sold out because you can still buy this bundle.
If you can get them in the bundle, that means they're not actually sold out.
They're not sold out. This is one of those like what is it they did all of like 2 years ago? 2 years ago as a bait and switch. We sold out, and then an hour later they'd put it back on there, and then that 2 days later they'd restock it again. This is the same scenario. They're just doing that same thing, because this time they're kind of doing it openly though, because like Chris said, you can buy the entire bundle right now of every one of them. I mean, so they're openly doing it right now. But this was, and I said it from the very beginning, and that's why I didn't do any videos on it. This was one of the weakest drops they've had in a really long time.
Huge. I think one of the biggest SDCs they've had in the past 3 or 4 years.
Weak. So this can of corn, it was done. It had no chance from the very beginning. Zero chance from the beginning. The one thing that caught me off guard that I didn't see happening, I did not think that the Funkoville 4-pack was going to sell like it did. They're saying it's sold out right now, but like Chris just pointed out, we clearly know that it's not.
Buy it on the bundle.
Buy it right here. Right.
No, it's not
so
sold out.
we clearly know that it's not sold out because you can get it right there. There's only a few items throughout here that they say are sold out, but we clearly know that they're not. But I think those are worth taking a look at and seeing if we can figure out what happened. Right. So none of us expected the Darth Vader. The Wednesday moments was, I felt like a Hail Mary at best.
Well, I think that moment has to be particular to a certain crowd.
A Hail Mary at best. That was a Hail Mary. Let's pray to God that people buy it because it has the con sticker on it, because there is no other chance that nobody is paying $40 for that. Not another chance. So
and the only part about that is there is a second season coming out. If you were smart, you would release that when the second season came out, when the hype for the new season is at its highest. But no, you release that in SDCC? Come on, man.
Hail Mary at best, right? That was a Hail
Godzilla, Mary. Not my favorite. To me, it doesn't even look like the classic Godzilla, to be 1,000% honest with you. But if you have all the other Godzillas, maybe you need this in your collection.
Right. So this one is currently saying it's sold out. We know that it's not, right? I'm not going to keep repeating that. We know that it's not because you can still buy it in the bundle. But if they did sell enough that they considered it sold out right here, I kind of expected this one because of the cult-like following and Godzilla. And Chris just pointed it out. If you have the first ones they made from Neon City to the other Godzillas, this one was just going to fall into your collection. There's so many like just old school Japanese anime cult-like followers. I was not surprised to see that this one caught some kind of traction. I just wasn't. That the Spider Boy, I didn't think it was. So many of these another one that surprised me is going to be this guy right here.
Edna Mode's classic with Disney, and that's probably the only reason that really kicked in. Edna Mode is popular within the Incredibles, but I don't see that sold out.
Also shocking. Shocking. This Batman still bothers me because I am 1,000% convinced that we've seen this.
Right? I'm pretty sure we did already, and it's ricocheted. Now, the only one I actually partially considered getting, which I could probably still get now, is Mr. Sinister. But
look, so just remember this, guys. So this is what I'm going to do. Friday, I'm going to drop a video. And I'm going to lay out what I think that should happen. Somebody needs to start fact checking the community. If if you agree with me, share this video on one of your social media platforms, tag some of your friends in it, get a lot of traction to it. If enough people say, yeah, I'd like to see you do it, Wayne, I'm going to do it. Now that also means that I'm going to catch a lot of bullshit from everybody when I start doing it, but I also have the ability to give everybody my middle finger. So it's pretty simple. I will say, don't lie, and you don't have to worry about me making a video.
Now, Jeremy, I'm gonna say as a fan, Funko, it was very weak. Overall news out of SDCC, one of the best. And
they did have some.
I'll talk about one major news, but if you didn't catch it in the comic world, then I don't know where you've been, but I will bring it up at the end.
I didn't catch any of it, so we'll let you talk about that in just 2 seconds. The Batman, I swear to God, we've seen this thing already, so I just can't remember where, but I know that we've seen this thing. The I don't believe Voltron sold out. That's another one. That this Jumbo Pokemon, probably, it's another cult-like following. Demon Slayer, also another probably cult-like following. But at the end of the day, guys, you have the Wicked Witch of the West. I could see this one selling out. And then you have the what is this? The Dungeons and Dragons. I don't believe this thing.
I can see Dungeons and Dragons just because there is.
You think so?
Every Dungeons and Dragons in the past has always been popular. There is, mind you, there's more of us Dungeons and Dragons people out there than people think. Whether they want to use these as part of a campaign. Some people like to use these figures as a campaign, whether it's the Latinus Cube, whether it's the Knight, whether it's something like that. People love that stuff. So D&D is a lot more popular than people think it is.
Dead Zone, what's poppin'? Good to see you in the house. I agree with you, but at the end of the day, we still know that none of these guys sold out because you can still buy it in the bundle. And so this was one of the weakest SDCCs we've seen to date. This is for Funko. This is one of those common things that Funko has gotten really comfortable doing, where they just take pops that they know won't sell any other time, and they put a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive sticker on it, and they pump it out into the market, and the market responds well to it because everybody is telling you that these things are going to be hot. You're going to need to get them, and they're going to be flipped, and you're going to make hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and you're going to go buy that Bugatti because of that Funko Freddy is going to go up that high in price. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's simply not going to happen. And this year was the worst one to date. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong with that. And if somebody can show me how I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to listen to what they have to say. But in my opinion, this was a shit dump on everybody that collects Funko. And I didn't want to say that. Chris, you remember when I was speculating what they had. I said, this is going to be a fire year. Well, they haven't shown anything. They might be coming out with the Nintendo franchise. This is going to be fire.
Backtrack this conversation a month ago. We were saying that this is going to be one of two things for Funko. Either it's going to set them up because I think there was so much hype for it. There was because they took their sweet time and actually releasing, which I'm not opposed to it. It's a huge marketing ploy to do that. But you didn't deliver. I'm sorry, you didn't deliver. You had an opportunity. You set the playing field. You didn't deliver.
And then they dropped the ball. I mean, they just we shouldn't even call them Funko no more. We should call them fumbling Funko.
Yeah.
I mean, because they just fumbled it, and they had the stage ready for them this time. Johnny Knight, what's poppin', Jeremy? I kind of agree with you, but we know that none of them sold out because you could still buy the bundle. So technically, they're showing it sold out. So it must have hit the magical number that they needed to say that it was sold out. But we all know that it's going to come back because how many people are spending? Check this out. How much was this stupid thing? Because I can't see that small.
$556.
$556.
Dumb.
$556.
Yeah,
man, that's most people's car payment. That's most people's half their rent. You're crazy. Not a chance that was ever going to sell. I mean, they set themselves up for failure on that. I want to talk about one pop, and then we can talk about what else they had at the San Diego, as far as news goes because I didn't catch any of that. So we do have the Chi Chong. This is going to be the Funko specialty series exclusive.
That's a classic
This
duo.
this thing right here. Let me tell you what would have made this like fire if they would have actually limited this one to a I think even a 5,000 piece would have been okay. This thing would have been sold out by now. This one would have like jumped up and ran
What
out
they did with Cheech and Chong is make a pop rides with the marijuana van.
They could do one with them sitting in the car getting high.
Dude,
I mean, when the cop comes up to the window, they roll the window down. He says, "Weigh the anchor. How much does the anchor weigh? I don't know. I forgot." You know, how fast are we going? How fast are we going? I think we're sitting still, man. I mean, so there's so much they could do with this one, but I felt like they totally dropped the ball by not making this a limited piece. Yeah. Again, it's fumbling Funko. I was disappointed at the anime pops this year, Johnny Knight. I was truly
their anime pops were weak.
I was truly but that's because Funko is doing what they've always done because it worked, right? It worked for a while there. We bought their pops that were shit pops that they just put.
Yeah, that's true.
They just put con stickers on and said, "Look at how great these pops are." The first year that they did it, they were pretty good. The second year they did it, they went, these are getting a little lazy. By the time to now, they're just putting them on pops that they know would not sell otherwise. They're putting them on pops that they know would just sit on the shelf if it didn't have that sticker on it. They are putting them on pops that they know would have no chance in the market without a sticker. Yeah. And it's so sad. If they would have put the Comic-Con sticker on these guys, whoa, it would have blown out the door. You wouldn't be able to get one right now for less than $250. Everybody would be talking about the Chi Chong pops. It would be insane, but they didn't. They put it on the weakest of the weakest stuff that they could do. Simon, how are you doing, brother? It's good to see you back in here as well. 506, no joke, right? Right, Ethan. That's
way too much.
What are you even thinking at that price, right? People can't afford that right now. People can't afford gas in their vehicle, let alone giving you a whole car payment.
And Johnny even says that the previous year's anime pops was amazing.
I agree that they've had some One-Piece pops that were in every San Diego Comic-Con, at least for the last 3. You had Laffy, you had so many fire ones from One Piece that popped off 2 years in a row. You had the ride in 2 different ways. This is one of the shittiest of SDCCs.
And the thing, even if you're talking for my language of superheroes, when you talk both Marvel and DC, mind you, you had one of the biggest blockbusters coming out. The fact that
they could have used it,
Deadpool nor a Wolverine in either of this is stupid. And the fact that you have new DC stuff coming out and you regurgitated an old Batman, Superman to re-release on this, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, again, I think I'm knowing comic books and Marvel, Mr. Sinister is pretty badass. But for a con, no, I wouldn't release Mr. Again, you have one of the biggest box office things that released the week of SDCC. And everybody knew that Deadpool 3 was going to be, huge. And you screwed it up. You didn't have no Wolverine and no Deadpool.
They could have easily put Deadpool in the ride. They could have brought Blade. They could have brought Gambit. They could have brought so many characters just from that franchise and blown up the SDCC and chose not to. Ethan, just save some for the rest of us, Ethan. Appreciate you coming in here and hanging out with us, brother.
And the thing is too is like I'm even disappointed because I even looked through the coming soon, and alone with X-Men and Wolverine, and maybe they didn't get the licensing, and maybe they want to pay for a lot of this licensing. But usually, before a big movie like that comes out, we did get some, Wolverine and Deadpool pops, and afterwards we get a whole bunch more. Releases.
So weak.
But we especially with all the different Deadpools they came out, the only thing you've shown is Baby Pool and Lady Pool. That's it. Out of all the Deadpools that were shown in that movie, we didn't get anything else.
Nothing.
We, we
So
didn't
weak.
we didn't get a Human Torch. We didn't get an Elektra. We didn't get a Blade. We didn't get a Gambit. What the hell?
So weak. It looked so weak. It's crazy how weak they were.
I mean, you had some of these huge cameos, and you failed it all. I mean, I knew that the Nintendo license was never going to happen. You were hopeful for it, you know, and in somewhat everybody was. That I still think the Nintendo license is never going to happen.
I don't think so either. Now I think it's unattainable by anybody at this moment. I think it's 1,000% unattainable. It's never going to happen. But check this out, Johnny. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And even Ethan says he's got the silver Batman. That's pretty awesome. So check this out. You said that there was some exciting news. What news was there?
So there was a bunch of different things. Of course,
didn't
they released some information different from what Marvel has done in Hall H in the past. You know, a lot of times they release a bunch of different, what's coming out in the phases. They did not do that this time. Instead, I think they are truly trying to pull it back a little bit. Of course, if you watched the Deadpool Wolverine, you saw that what I'm excited for, the trailer for the new Captain America movie,
Yes.
which I think is going to be awesome. You have they did show some trailers because coming in September, if you were a WandaVision fan, like I know the two of us very much were, Agatha Harkness spin-off show is coming, and it's already looking good. They did show a trailer. Wanda Maximoff is not dead, just like we all knew she didn't die in Multiverse of Madness. And I think that's going to be a fantastic show. And to get into that, and they showed some other stuff, but of course, the ultimate biggest news is they had to talk about Marvel's first family. They showed the trailer for Fantastic Four. I love the direction they're going in. They're really bringing this back to almost like a 1940s, 1950s type of look for them going in outer space and stuff like that. And maybe that's just a trailer look. I'm hoping for both. I think it's fantastic. I love the entire cast. Pedro Pascal playing Miss Fantastic. I'm all for. The whole cast up and down is going to be fantastic. Very good. But of course, the biggest news was, what are they going to do? Because in the past they had said that their next Avengers movie was going to kind of be based after Kang the Conqueror. Well, after the whole Jonathan Majors craziness and basically getting fired, they had to go in a different direction. So they did still release that there will be an Avengers movie called Secret Wars. They didn't change that, but they did say that it is going to be directed by the brothers. Why can't I remember their name right now? And I know you guys are going to call me out on this. The brothers, the same brothers that did Endgame, Infinity, and the Infinity movie, all that. So the same people that did those movies are going to direct this one. And of course, before we were supposed to have Kang Dynasty, that is scratched, and now it's Doomsday. They're basing all the villain off of Doctor Doom, which
I know another Doomsday out there.
I predicted that was going to happen because to me, I'm sorry, but Victor Von Doom is, to me, one of the ultimate best villains in the Marvel universe. I've been a huge Fantastic Four fan for a long time. Some of my biggest comics I have are of Avengers comics. So I tell people literally, if I go to comic book stores and look in the boxes, I go after Avengers comics and I go after Fantastic Four comics. I love Fantastic Four, always have been. And of course, they dropped who is going to play Victor Von Doom. Yes. Not other than the man himself.
That's a good role.
RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. Now, a lot of people are kind of upset by this. There's 50-50 on the comic book realm that I've talked to today. And in there's a lot of people that are kind of mad about this because, hey, RDJ is Iron Man. Now, there is a couple possibilities that people are thinking because there was a different version of Doctor Doom that was called Iron Man Supreme. And I don't think that's going to happen. Why? The only reason I don't think that that's going to happen is because of the mask, that they brought RDJ out. They brought RDJ out in the classic Doctor Doom mask, and not the Iron Man Supreme mask.
I think he's going to play both roles, though.
I think he's going to play. Now, mind you, Doctor Doom, except for the beginning, if they show the true origin story, that's really the only time you're going to see his face. Otherwise, Doom's face was always behind the mask.
He's going to play both of them. And I think that's what I caught from most people being upset.
Yeah. And Doom was a badass. Doom in the comics seriously reached into Thanos' chest and pulled his damn spine out, man. I mean, Doom was a badass. And so I'm very excited to hear about Doomsday.
I am excited for that one.
Not only
there's another Doomsday out there
in your favor, as even in here.
Delights,
Doomsday Delights.
LLC. We actually own that, by the way. Doomsday Delights LLC.
But
let's go.
I think it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait for the next phase. I think that the Doomsday is not supposed to come out till 2026, so we do have some build up. You got Avengers 4, you got Blade coming out next year. You got Captain America 4 coming out next year. You got Blade coming out next year. I think there's one other one. I'm excited for this reset. I think Marvel is going into a different direction, a new change, and they're going to bring a lot of these characters. I'm really excited how they're going to mesh Deadpool into the new, because we already know that they signed Ryan Reynolds to like a 10-picture deal.
Yeah,
one of the biggest deals that Marvel's ever handed out, and the fact that Hugh, even though he's been asked on this tour many times, I'm just going to say this. If you didn't watch this, turn off your volume. They did not kill off the Wolverine. They did not bring him back to his world. This has been kind of left completely open, and there is rumors that Hugh Jackman signed on for 2 more movies to play.
Well, if they keep him in the Wolverine suit, he'll probably do it. You have to remember that he said that he didn't want to do Wolverine anymore because the prep to be Wolverine was too hard on his body. He was getting too old, and it was too hard to get in that physical shape that he had to be in to be Wolverine without a shirt on. So if they keep the suit on him, because in the movie that was not his body without the shirt. That was
why
Photoshopped.
They showed that with his head, his mask still on.
Well photoshopped, right? That was not him. So
it was still funny as shit, though.
It was funny as shit, but that was not him. But check this out. I want to touch on Johnny real quick. I'm going to get off of that one. Johnny says, "What do I think of the?"
No, that's Jeremy. That's Jeremy.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy says, "What do I think of the Fun Day box? What do you think of the Fun Day box?" This is what I'm going to say to this, Jeremy. Jeremy, if you're collecting this because you like to collect the Fun Day boxes like I do, then it's going to be a lot of fun. I have not looked at what's in them. I can tell you that it's always Freddy's that go up in value initially. They only stay up in value for a few days, maybe a week, and then they plummet right back down to the ground. If you're going to buy it and flip it, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Do it day one. Don't wait. The day that you get your hands on it, sell it, because it will not go up any more than that. They never do. They just go down from that point forward. They come to the spike and then start climbing back down. But if you're opening it for the fun of opening the mystery box and to get it, it's a 1,000% worth the price. I bought one. I haven't seen it yet. I'm a little upset that I haven't seen it yet. If you're buying it for the fun of opening the mystery box, to seeing which Freddy's you have, because I have a fairly large Freddy collection, I believe, it's going to be fun. If you're buying it because you think that it was an investment, it's not going to be any fun. It's
buy
just
it because you want it.
Right. I mean, so if you bought it for the reason that you're going to have fun with it, you're going to have a blast. If you bought it with I'm going to resell them, it's going to be really difficult, because a lot of them that are going to sell are going to come with the convention stickers. Those are the ones that people want first. Those are the ones that your sellers that are spending the big money are normally willing to spend their money on first, unless it's $1,000 pop. Then they'll buy that one for $250 without the sticker, right? But that's the kind of the swing that you're sitting at. I buy them for fun. I have fun with them every year. If I don't like them, I pull no punches when I say I sell them. If I get one that doesn't fit in my collection at all, I just sell it. I mean, and if I sell it for profit or if I sell it for price, that's just the way that it goes. But
I'll honestly tell you guys, and to be dead honest, and you can go on my eBay store and actually, again, I don't actually run the eBay store. My wife actually runs the whole thing.
Thank you, Christina.
You can go on there for a lot of those pops, and she only prices things based off of trends and what things are selling for, basically, because we want to get them out. We're not selling them to try to make a profit. I've probably, compared to what I bought a half of these pops for, I've lost tons of money. Don't
Tons of
care. I just don't. I'm just trying to thin out my collection a little bit and try to, mainstream what it is I actually want for my collection, and that's the route I'm going. We're selling a bunch of pops and we're clearing them out, but there's no way I ever got what I actually paid for them back. So, to sit here and think that I'm doing it to make money, no, not at all.
So check this out. Let's go over real quick, like some of the fun stuff that they're coming out with, because you kind of made mention a minute ago about the new Deadpools they're coming out with, the woman Deadpool, things like that, or female Deadpool, however it is you said it.
Lady Pool.
We know that they're coming out with some of these fusion pops. This fusion game looks like it's going to hit hardcore. If you guys have a PC or something like that and you need somebody to play with, hit me up. I'm going to be more than willing. I'm going to be more than willing to sit down and like play this one out right now. Rue and myself are playing Chain Together over on TikTok probably once a day. If you haven't seen Chain Together, you're going to want to come see this because it's hysterical. It's the two of us trying to like navigate while we're chained together through obstacle courses, and we both like go at each other. She's the only one of the kids that gets to talk to me the way that she does, and I kind of give it right back to her. So you just have to come hang out with us because it's a lot of fun. So we've been playing that one together, but if y'all want to get this one and then hit me and Chris up and say let's play, I'm down to do that. If that's something that y'all want to get into, we could do it live on TikTok or however it is you'd like to do it. The fusion stuff is going to be fire, right? All of the fusion stuff that I've seen Funko coming out with, the He-Man fusion with that Chase variant, that thing is, I don't know if I can find it real quick. Let me see if it's right here real fast. Like I know that, no, it's not right here real fast. Like that thing is fire. That He-Man with that Chase variant, that fusion,
He-Man was cool.
That thing is fire. I don't really know what these two things are right here.
Battlestar Galactica, I mean,
look really good.
There is a cult following for it. I never really.
They look cool though, right?
But
they look cool, right?
Yeah.
Both of them have Chase variants.
The other one, I have
of them
no idea of.
Both of these guys. All of these fusions so far have had these really cool Chase variants. I mean, I
like the boxes.
I do too. I think that Funko is doing something here. I think that this is going to bite us in the ass eventually, though, because eventually I think Funko is going to be like, oh, you want a chance at these fusion pops? Well, you have to buy this pack.
Yeah.
To this bonus pack. And this bonus pack will come with that pop, but it's going to cost you $50 to get this add-on pack, and maybe you'll get a Chase. I think this is going to bite us in the ass. Y'all just sit back and watch. They're coming out with the lady pool.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When it comes to the other side characters of Deadpool, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a huge fan of them. I never have been. It's when they come out with the side characters, I'm like, unless it's something really cool like Squirrel Pool. That thing was really fire, right? Or Dino Pool.
Yeah, what about Dino Pool?
That's why I said Dino Pool. Unless it's one of those guys, right? But the side characters like the female pool, the baby pool, none of those resonate with me whatsoever. And I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way when it comes to those. It's like, it's cool, but it's Deadpool with boobs. I mean, I don't really know, right? I don't know how to feel about that.
Well,
you got the Ice Spice.
I'm sorry, but I'll tell you the only thing that truly appeals to. It appeals to the nerds.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
I mean, I consider myself a nerd, but I don't. I don't give two shits. That appeals to the big time nerds out there. That the same ones that I'm sorry, Johnny, and our friends up north, but that appeals to the anime nerds, the same ones that watch the skinny beach volleyball, games that because they're in skimpy outfits. That's all that appeals to.
Right. I'll agree with that. The Ice Spice, I wouldn't touch that.
I don't even know
I don't really get behind anything Ice Spice, so it's whatever. They're coming out with the Mortal Kombat line. This line will only be fire if they come out with Chase variants. I don't think they are. I think they focus all of their attention right now on fusion, and we know that Funko can't focus in multiple directions at one time. They can only focus on one thing and shit on everything else around them. So I don't.
And Jeremy, yes, I am in Florida. Have I gone to any cons out here? Not that much. I know the Tampa cons, I think, coming up soon, or it just happened. I don't know, something like that. I've thought about going to MegaCon, just haven't gotten around to it yet. I did go to one out on the coast one time, a smaller one, which was actually a lot of fun.
The deck to hall stuff doesn't impress me. I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to get upset at how many sexy pose Deadpools they're just regurgitating over and over and over. I have a few of the sexy Deadpool poses. But they went way up in value, but now they're shitting on them till they're not worth it.
For me, I gotta have the Captain America one just because to me that's a Captain America collection.
I get it. Like the Red Hulk, I get it. There's nothing in here that's really cool. They've come out with this armored Mandalorian bazillion times. I think that the Lewis might actually catch some traction in the driving community. That one would catch a lot more traction if you could get it signed. I mean, no joke, that one would catch a lot more traction. Like I said a second ago, the sexy pose Deadpool though is starting to get old. Every one of them have the same number too, just in case y'all haven't caught that. Every one of the sexy Deadpool poses have 1413 as their number. Every box of the sexy pose Deadpool all have the 14. Yes, they all have the 1413. I have 3 of them. They all have the 1413 number on them. That number you see right there, it's because it's the exact same pop. They just did something small, slightly different to it. It's the exact same number in the line, though. 1413 is always the sexy Deadpool pose. You have the unveiling of this black pink. I don't know what it is, but it looks like trash. That's what I do know. Some more anime stuff. We've already seen that one once. We know that they're coming out with the new hockey stuff. I don't see that popping off really big either. That's going to be worse than NFL. So I think what you could take away from this, the things that you're going to want to start looking for if you're a collector of different things, start waiting for them to come out with the fusions that you like. So if they come out with the He-Man fusion, I might actually try and get the Chase variant of that one. If this is something that you like, start watching these, because I think these have got a lot more focus on them right now than any other pops. So start using that as your this is it, especially if you're just going to flip it. I mean, start watching those because they have Chase variants. Chase variants always go up in price. It's just common knowledge.
Yeah, makes sense.
What you got for us, guy? What's going on this week? Let's
not much. Not much. We did go to Wilderness Lodge this past weekend. I actually didn't film a single thing except for one small clip. I did film one.
Nothing. Not a thing.
Again, I think where I'm at with this, I don't know what I'm doing with my channel, if I'm going to do anything anymore. I really don't know. To me, it's kind of, in some instances, it's the opposite. Filming at Disney has become the opposite as at some point with the Funko community, whereas Funko community was big and then started getting small. There's been an overabundance of people filming the same shit at Disney over and over again.
Ideas.
Huh?
I gave you ideas.
I know, but I don't have that type of time to be able to do some of those items and things like that. So again, my time is more spent with doing reviews and stuff like that. Now we are going to Great Wolf Lodge, the new Great Wolf Lodge down in Naples in October, and that I'll probably be filming 4 or 5 videos off of that. Because to be honest with you, my one that I filmed 2 years ago in Georgia, that one gets constant hits. And I think it's just because there's not as many people filming that stuff and giving people the information. Disney, there's overabundance. I may do a live stream for not this weekend, but the next weekend when they do the D23 Parks Expo, which kind of sucks because it is on the East Coast. The Expo's on the West Coast, which is in Anaheim. And usually they used to do that event earlier in the morning. So it was decent time for the rest of us here on the East Coast. And unfortunately, they moved it to 7 o'clock West Coast time, which means the event is going to happen. The event is going to happen at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I will still be up. I will watch it. This is supposed to be some huge... There's been all kinds of videos of people talk about what they think that it's going to be talked about. I think there's some things that are expected to be talked about and some things that aren't. But there is supposed to be some huge announcements. Of course, they have to do something in order to compete. Have plans to be able to compete with the new Universal Park, which opens next year, called Epic Universe. Because they're going to lose a lot next summer. They're going to lose a lot of tourism to Universal. So they need to give something to guests for the future. So I definitely think we're going to get a lot from them on that, and go from there. If you're a Lorcana fan, expect to hear some more news coming next week during the expo, as Lorcana and Ravensburg did skip San Diego Comic-Con because they were planning to be at D23 instead. Now, again, Funko, I'm hoping we get some D23 pops just like we did last year, but I'm not hoping for a whole lot. But that's pretty much what we got coming up with everything with Disney. It's summertime. I really try not to go to the parks a lot, but if you are, and I know we have some people in here that are Doomsday Delight fans, I did do one small clip, and I actually sent it to Wayne, and I've issued a candy challenge from Florida to him. So I just got to get him the box with the stuff. So stay tuned on his shorts. I'm sure he'll be snapping that together and going from there.
I will 100% be snapping that together. Just guys, look, we truly appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us. This is that part of the show. We're going to get off here, but remember that next week we're going to be over on Chris's channel. So come hang out with us over there. We will see you next time, guys.
Later.
You guys are gonna have to put this in the description. You know, I'm gonna leave this show tonight a little worse off, I think, quite honestly, than where we began. Everybody is watching this and watching this on the replay. You are now dumber and less important in life because of what has transpired here this evening. We apologize for what's going on right now. I'm gonna try to pretend like none of this happened.